Hello everyone, I'm Chase at Rocky Mountain ATV giving you a closer look at the VX-Pro4 helmet from Arai. Alright, so today we're giving you a closer look at the VX-Pro4 helmet coming from Arai. Now, of all the premium helmets that we sell at Rocky Mountain, the VX-Pro4 is probably one of the most simplest looking helmets, but do not let the looks fool you. There's a lot of cool features, a lot of technology that is built into these helmets, like the super fiber they use for the shell construction, also the R75 shell shape, things we'll talk about more, amongst a lot of other cool features. I had a lengthy conversation with some of the people from Arai, and it was really cool just to hear how much thought and how much effort goes into making what Arai feels is the safest helmet possible. So we're gonna get in, we're gonna talk about the features of it. Now, one cool fact that I like about Arai is they're a Japanese company going on 4 generations, being a private family-owned business. And something that I love about them is that every one of their helmets is handmade. So before we get in, we talk about the features, let's talk about fit real quick. Fitment on the Arai is true to size, very comfortable helmet. We'll talk more about that here in just a moment, but remember, use the sizing guide on the product page, that way you know what size you need to order. And also something unique that Arai told me on the phone is that when you try on the helmet, they want you to actually take the cheek pads out first. Try the helmet on, that way you make sure the crown on the helmet fits correctly, so that way you're not thinking about the cheek pads. So try on the helmet first, make sure the crown fits, and then put the cheek pads in. But remember, this is an apparel item that goes for any helmet that we sell at Rocky Mountain. If you are not happy with the sizing or the fitment, send it back in brand new unused condition. We have our fit guarantee, which means you get free shipping both ways on your first exchange. Now, if you are wondering, yes, I did weigh this helmet, size large, 3.2 pounds. If I had one nitpick, it would just be with the weight. And it's not even a heavy helmet. There's just a lot of premium helmets nowadays that are coming in sub 3 pounds. But what I do like is that they actually have the center of gravity pretty low on this helmet, so it still feels light when you're wearing it. Now, when I do have this helmet flipped around, I will point out, you can see on the back here, this helmet is going to be DOT and snow certified. Something that Arai puts a lot of emphasis on is making sure you are getting the best fit possible. And you know, some things that really show that is, one, with this helmet, you get 5 different shell sizes. So that is something that off the top of my head, I can't think of another helmet manufacturer that uses 5 different shell sizes. Different shell sizes just helps give a better fit depending on the size of the rider's head. Also, for say a smaller rider or smaller head size, you're reducing any unwanted weight by not having such a large shell. But also with the cheek pads in the helmet comfort liner. So each shell size, okay, you need to go on Arai's website if you want to do this, but once you buy the helmet, they have 6 different cheek pads available that all interchange with all different shell sizes. So if you get the helmet and you feel like the cheek pads just aren't quite thick enough, or maybe they're too thick, and you want to get some that are thinner or larger, you just go to their website, they have different options available. And also that goes for the headliner, the comfort liner. The comfort liner, there's 3 different options available for each shell size. So they really just allow you to customize a fit. But on top of that, the cheek pads and the comfort liner that come included with the helmet actually have 5mm peel-aways, which I will show you. So even with the comfort liner that you get inside the helmet, you can even customize that. So it's really cool how much of an emphasis Arai puts on the fit. You're making a big investment here, so they want to make sure it's as comfortable as possible. So with the VX-Pro4, we talked about shell shape. You can see here, very round shell shape, and that's what they call their R75 shell shape. In fact, just to give you an idea of that, they actually sent me one of their shells right here. So this is what a shell looks like before there's any vents cut into it. This is what it looks like after it's been hand laid. So a couple unique features here with their shell construction. They use a material that they call super fiber. So it's a complex laminate construction. There's multiple layers that make up the shell. But what they say is that super fiber has 30% more tensile strength than just regular fiberglass. So you're getting a very strong, lightweight shell. But what's unique here is you can see very round shell design, and that's actually by purpose. So what they say is that the shell, and any part of the shell except for the eye port and the chin bar, of course, is going to have a continuous radius curve of at least 75mm. And the purpose for that round shell shape is just to ensure that in the event of a crash, if the rider goes down, they don't want any exaggerated lines, any curves to possibly snag and catch and possibly put any more forces or strain to the rider's head or to the rider's neck. So that is the purpose of that shell shape. Every single one of Arai's helmets in their line, it doesn't matter if it's street, dirt, they all have that same design and that same concept. So I think it's pretty cool. Also going along with that, we talked about how each shell is hand laid. Well, what's cool is that every shell has a different makeup. And what I mean by that is, obviously, if you take an extra large shell and a small shell and you have the exact same layers on there, it's gonna have a different rigidity. So what Arai does is that for each different shell size, they have a unique layup to get the right rigidity and the right amount of flex for that different shell. So for a rider that has a smaller head or using a smaller shell size, well, they want it to have a different flex or a different rigidity than, say, an extra large shell. So you can just see how much thought and effort goes into making their helmets, again, just with the shell construction, as unique and tailored to the different shell sizes. So that's their shell. Now, when we talk about venting, okay, obviously with that, you're gonna look on the back here because I just wanna show you, I know we just talked about the R75 shell shape. On the back here, you have these diffusers on the top. So those are gonna be covering up the exhaust vents you have on the back. Now with these diffusers, this is removable. So if you want, you could just take these right off. It's just a single screw right here. The top one you could take off as well. But these are designed to break away in the event of a crash. So that way, going along with that R75 shell shape, these aren't going to add any additional rotational or any extra forces to the rider's head or to the rider's neck. But when you look at the front here, you're gonna see you do have vents up in the front. You've got this chin vent here on the mouth guard. This is removable, so you can see you've got this stainless mesh screen. But what's cool about this vent is that it actually, you can open and close it. So on the inside here, I can actually open and close. It's gonna be a little bit hard to see from the outside, but what I will do, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop this out real quick. So to open and close this vent on the inside, very easy to pop out. So this is what you're gonna use actually to open and close that vent. You can see it just slides up and down. This is removable, and once you take that out, there's a single screw on the back side here that's holding that stainless mesh screen. So if you pop that screw out just with a flathead screwdriver, you can actually take this mouth guard off and you can clean that out as well. So it'll allow you to clean that out. A couple more vents here, obviously underneath the visor. Now these also do open and close. So like I said, it's pretty cool. If you're riding in cooler conditions, you don't want as much airflow, you can close those off. You can see though that when you do have those open, you do have these cutouts here in the visor that's gonna help direct airflow into the helmet. And then of course, underneath these diffusers, like we mentioned, you're gonna have those exhaust vents to get that hot air out. You're also gonna have a couple exhaust vents down here along the bottom of the helmet as well. Now with the visor design, it is going to be adjustable. So single screw underneath here on the bottom. If I loosen that up, one thing that I noticed about the Arai visor, lots of adjustability. It's also just a really smooth action, so plenty of adjustment there. Now the screws on the outside here, these are hollow screws, so they are designed to shear off, so that way the visor can break away if you have a bad crash. So again, going along with that shell shape, you also have a visor that's gonna have plenty of flex to it, but also those screws are designed to shear off. And also something I kind of noticed with the Arai helmet, with the VX-Pro4, is that the visor seems to be a little bit longer than other visors that I've seen. So I kind of like that. A little bit more protection when you're blocking roofs, but also if you tilt that visor down, it's gonna offer a lot of coverage if you're trying to block the sun. So that's the outside of the helmet. Now, let's take a look at what we got going on the inside here. A lot of cool features left to talk about. So when we flip this upside down, first thing you'll notice, traditional D-ring with the neck strap. Now the cheek pads, you have emergency removable cheek pads. In other words, you have these little tabs here. So in the event that you need to get the helmet off the rider's head as safely as possible, you want to get those cheek pads out. So all you're going to do is just take these tabs, pull down and forward, and these cheek pads pop out very easily. Something very unique also is that when you look at the cheek pads on a Arai helmet, no snaps. So these actually just kind of fit into place. And you'll notice, it's kind of hard to explain it, but they fit into place well. They don't move around. I've worn this helmet before. I didn't have any problems with cheek pads moving on me, but you're not gonna have any snaps. What I like about that though, makes it very simple to get these cheek pads out. So there's one. Pull out the other one here real quick. Now this is what I wanna show you real quickly before we get to the comfort liner and the EPS. As I mentioned earlier, you have 5mm peel-aways on the cheek pad. I'm gonna show you where those are at. So all you're gonna do is just take the cover that's on there, you're gonna peel that back. So right here by this tab that you have for that emergency cheek pad, you'll notice, peel that up with my finger, that is your 5mm peel away. So there's just gonna be a little bit of glue that's holding that on there. So what you can do, like I said, if you put this on and you feel like the cheek pad's maybe just a little bit too thick, you wanna narrow it down some, you can take this layer and just peel it off. And you'll notice here right on the back, 25mm right. So if you go to Arai's website, if you're looking for different cheek pads, you'll know you have a 25mm. And again, they'll have different size options that you can choose from. But again, just take that layer. When you're peeling this off, don't just rip it, take it off slowly, because if you take it out, you realize that it was too much. Well, you can actually just put it back on there, but if you just rip it off, you could tear it. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult to do. But those are your cheek pads. Now, let's pull out that comfort liner. So the comfort liner is gonna have snaps that hold it in. Pop those out real quick. Now remember, like I mentioned earlier, just like with those cheek pads, You are gonna have 5mm peel-aways on the comfort liner as well, and where those are located, if you turn this to the side here, so this would be the right side. Again, there's a size of the comfort liner that comes in the helmet. Like I said, go to the website, just like the cheek pads, 3 different options available for the different shells. But if I peel this away here, there is your 5mm peel away. So again, just like with the cheek pad, if you are gonna remove that, do it slowly. Don't just rip it off. That way you can put it back on if you feel like the adjustment was too much. But again, customize it. Check out the different sizes available. You can do whatever you want to get that fit exactly how you want. So there's your comfort liner. Also, note that with their comfort liner, they do not recommend that you wash it in a washing machine. You can wash these, take it out, use some soap, just scrub them down, but they say not the best idea to throw these into a washing machine, so just keep that in mind. But when we look inside here, there's gonna be your EPS liner on the inside. Now you can see it's painted black, but some really cool features and technology that goes into their EPS liner. And to show you, again, thank you Arai, they have actually sent a piece of the EPS liner for the helmet. So what's unique about this? EPS stands for expanded polystyrene. We see it in a lot of helmets. The material that's crushable, does an incredible job of absorbing energy. But what's unique about the liner, the EPS liner that Arai uses, is that it progressively gets softer from the outside as you work your way up. So if I squeeze here, it's pretty firm, but as I start to work my way up, I can actually feel it getting softer as I work my way around. So that way, depending on where the EPS liner needs to be softer to help absorb a little bit more impact, they have customized that for the helmet. And also what's cool is that every EPS liner has a different density depending on the size of the helmet that's gonna go inside of. So for maybe a rider that has a smaller head, smaller shell shape, your rider's head's not gonna weigh as much. So you're probably not gonna need an EPS liner that's gonna be as dense. So they utilize different thicknesses or different densities in the EPS depending on the shell size. Again, they're just thinking of everything possible of how we can just make it as safe as possible. And that is it. That is the VX-Pro4 helmet coming from Arai. Again, simple looking, but a lot of cool features, a lot of technology that is built into this. If you guys have any questions or comments about these, if you have one, leave your comments below. We'll get your questions answered. To pick up yours, it is very simple. Just click on the link at the end of this video. Don't forget, orders over $75 ship free. If you guys like this product spotlight, you want to see more just like it, we'll make sure get subscribed to our YouTube channel. That way you stay up to date. And also, if you're looking for a premium helmet, we have a premium helmet buyer's guide where we show you some of our personal favorites and we walk through and we talk about the key features and highlights of those just to help give you a good starting point. I'm Chase at Rocky Mountain. We'll see you on the trails.